Check, check, check. Bam. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Martin Luther King Day, so I put up a picture of the man himself. And now this is very important because we have some stuff to talk about today about unity, about racial equality, and I have quite the program for you. As always, my guest today, Danny Presti of Max Public House. All right, I'm going to take a sip of fluid. I'm going to get the show on the road. When you're used to getting your upload from the media daily, you find out that you listen to some pretty wacky stuff. And I'm going to show you some of that wacky stuff as I do every time we do the do. Right now, we're going to start with a quote. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. That's what we need to be working on. If we're going to be on the same page and work to go somewhere with each other to a future that is nice and normal, we have to get past what I'm about to show you. And what I'm about to show you is the media playing games with emotion, framing things a certain way, and at the end of the day, driving you, your friends, your family, and your fellow citizens apart. And I'm going to tell you, I make this program throughout the day. I produce it within an hour and a half. So Danny doesn't really know what we're going to talk about for the most part.
I'm here to... I saw the process of putting it together. It's very, very interesting, and we're in for a good show today.
Okay, so without further ado, this was a shooting that just occurred. Okay, you may have heard about it. Temple graduate was walking his dog, and hold on, I want to shut my ringtone off because this episode cannot have rings in it. All right, so he was walking his dog, and he was shot. Okay, so we're going to find out how this was framed in the media, and what we should actually obtain. And I believe that the people that, for the most part, tune into the show, what they saw was somebody was murdered, not black or white. A human lost their life in a crime. But let's get to it, because that is where you can drive out how you've been sold and how you've been taught to interpret news and the way to look at the world, which would yield a narrative that has been driven forward. Okay, so Philadelphia suspect freed on dramatically reduced bail 2 weeks before Temple University grad slayed while walking dog. So when you get into how crazy this is, he was let out without bail because of the court closures with the pandemic. But we're going to see how scary this can be. He had been arrested 5 times since January of 2019, was charged on February 19, 2020 with 11 counts, including kidnapping for ransom robbery, car theft, firearms violations, and more charges in connection to an incident that previous July. The victim in that case was Uber driver Jane Rowe, a spokesperson said. So this person 5 times was arrested. Again, we're not getting into color because that really was not mentioned in the entire article. There was no a black man kills a white man, nor should that be there.
Doesn't matter.
Because it doesn't matter. A man killed a man and there was crime involved. If it was the other way around, a man killed a man and there was crime involved. Okay. You have to watch these nuances because this is how they are destroying our society as we know it and pitting actual family members, let alone friends and citizens that don't know each other, against one another. So it's going to get interesting where I take this because I've talked about some of it in the past, but you're going to see it now. Okay, hold on, make sure I don't want to skip any of this. Hold on. Okay. So one more, hold on. Yes, okay. We are at the right clip now. Okay? Here we go. This male was on the street with two open felony cases because his bail was reduced from $200K to $12K. This is ridiculous and another example of bail decisions that are being made without considering the safety of the community. Consequences matter. And it says 20-year-old Josephus Davis of 1400 Hollywood Street in Philadelphia charged with last Wednesday's shooting murder of Milan Lankar. Detail in the case to follow. Let's enhance that. That's Derek Wood, an inspector for the police department. Derek Wood, inspector for Philly Police Department. All right? What do we notice here as we go down the line? Well, if you wanted to take it in the world that we're in, we're noticing that the police officer is not white, and he thinks that this man should not have been in jail, which would mean he is for the law. He is not racist. But where we're going to go with how this develops right now is a very frightening situation, because we're getting to the Chicago police. I think that I did that a little early. That's what we're getting to. To understand Trump support, we must think in terms of multicultural whiteness. So if you would say that that man who is a police officer, who follows the law, maybe even voted for Trump or a conservative in general, in conservative nature, that would put you in a multiracial whiteness. So what is happening, this came out in, of course, the Washington Post, which I like to call Jeff Bezos' used condom. It came out, and to understand, there is a big division here, because people are asking questions. A lot of people are waking up. You don't know that because you're told it's actually the opposite. But if you look at it, a lot of people are saying, why were there so many black votes and Latino votes for Trump this time? Why did they go up? If racism is at an all-time high, and he, as they called him on the floor in Congress, the white supremacist in chief, as they're trying to kick him out of office with a mere 48 hours left, right? Why would people ask these questions? Because it doesn't make sense. So what did they do, Danny? I could tell you. They decided to make it that everybody that does support Trump is white, no matter what their race is. I want him to, remember, he doesn't get to prep for this. So as I throw this ridiculousness at him live, you can watch the brain go.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm a normal person, like everybody else watching this, where you're seeing this in live time, and you look at this, and is there really, how do you even respond to this? I don't even know how you respond to something like this at this point.
I have no idea. When I read this article, I read it on...
Can you even say anything? I feel like at this point,
well,
these are things that you can't even respond to because...
If you respond, you're wrong. Let's start there. You're wrong. You were part of the problem because you're defending it, which means you and yourself, whether if you're a different race, then you'd have multicultural whiteness, or if you're your own race, you're white in general. So the problem still exists, regardless. So I don't know how one would respond to this. But it develops. So if that's the case, okay, if that is the case, we go back to, and I've talked about this in the past, Chicago police release extended videos of officers shooting unarmed subway rider in the back. This sounds extremely bad, and the video is extremely bad. If you go through this entire article, not once does it say 2 black officers shoot white man in the back, unarmed white man. It does not happen. It's not said. And for the most part, nobody heard about this story, and it happened in February of 2020. It's as if it didn't happen. The man has issues health-wise for the rest of his life, kind of like Jacob Blake. However, unlike Jacob Blake, he did not have a knife. The cops did not get called there for any type of dispute. There was no warrants out for his arrest that they knew of, or there were no warrants in general. His only crime was he broke city ordinance, and he walked from a subway car to another subway car while the train was in motion. So he was car hopping. When they stopped him, he stated he had anxiety, and the only way he could deal with it was by walking, whether true or false. However, what happened was, after a 3-minute scuffle, the police were totally winded. They were wrestling around on the floor. And we're going to get to it because I would like to continue with the slides. We're going to dive into this case. But again, never said. And Mayor Lightfoot of Chicago stated, this is deeply disturbing. Good. It was. I agree. However, we need to get the full picture of it before we can decide what happened. So the question was there, and there was no immediate jump to a conclusion, nor should you immediately jump to a conclusion. But when this much footage was out, it was pretty damning because the entire thing was on videotape. However, here we go.
New at 6, a man shot by a police officer at a CTA station is now suing. Lawyers say 33-year-old Ariel Roman suffered life-altering injuries when he was shot at the Grand and State Station last month. The shooting was caught on video. Officers struggled with Roman after he was caught walking between CTA cars. Roman's lawyers say he was having an anxiety attack and needed to walk to calm down. He's suing the city and the officers. Because of the shooting, the union representing CTA workers is asking the agency to use people trained in de-escalation and non-lethal tactics to keep everyone safe on buses, trains, and at stations.
Okay, so what you just saw there, and now I can't hear it in real time as we do this broadcast, but what you saw there was a really light version. Kind of left room for interpretation. However, what I'm about to show you is the actual Sentinel moment that it all went down. It was the epicenter of the entire thing, the end of the wrestling on the floor, as the guy was just trying to get away. And it's not that graphic, but yes, a man is shot. He lives. But let's go to it. No, not that one. Not that. Unity! Not that one. We're going to get into Unity. I don't know where the video is. This is crazy. I must not have the video unless I bypassed it. I bypassed the video. It's okay. But you can Google it. You could go and find it. You could watch the entire ordeal. Happened in February of 2020. And afterwards, he stood up. They shot him point blank. And then he started to run up the escalator and they shot him in the back, unarmed. And then at the end, when they ran up the escalator, the cop even took a breather and let the escalator take him up the last few feet. None of this was mentioned as a race case because it was not a race case. It was just bad police work. Unless we found some other evidence where they said, hey, I don't like white people, then yes, then it would be a race case. Which is why every crime cannot be looked at as a hate crime because you need to have substance to make it that. And that's out the window.
Yeah, but that's not how it works these days. Is no matter what, I feel like no matter what we do, it's looked at as a race case.
Exactly. No matter what crime happens.
Not even if it's a crime. Crimes, yes, everything these days has now become something about race.
It is. But I'm saying specifically in crime cases, when it fits the narrative, it's usually black man shot by white man. When it doesn't fit the narrative, it is, I believe the headline was Cook shot in the back on Subway. And what it should be is, if everything is not to be race, which it shouldn't, it should be police shot man on both cases. You can't describe one set of news under one set of pretext because it doesn't make sense. It's not even, and it's not news. And that's what we're stuck with is we don't really have news anymore. We have elaborate storytelling that is selling you into a way of thinking to forward a narrative. Now, what I was going to show you is during this, as it is MLK Day, everything was about unity, coming together, and no more race deciding the future, which is the way it's supposed to be. And it's supposed to be even treatment for all. But this is the thing. And this is where BLM started to lose people right off the bat. Okay, so what you saw there was from this summer, BLM in New York City chanting no more police, no more landlords, and you watch the lockdowns, you watch what the virus is doing, and everyone's losing. Like, landlords are not getting rent. Then they're going to default. Then someone's going to buy up their property. So when you follow the BLM movement and their ties to socialism and their outlook is more of a socioeconomic battle than anything. And if you follow it, you come to the same conclusion that this is more than just wanting equality because it's more about division and separating financial levels. It's a socioeconomic war more than anything. And they're chanting for no more landlords, no more police. It's kind of loses its touch on moderate middle America of all races and on. It's only a certain very liberal-minded group that this is resonating with, and everyone else is staying quiet on it for fear of being canceled. And the truth is, it's driven us apart, and it started to mentally silence people. And how many people would go out and talk, but they'd be like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to speak about it.
It's most people right now, especially now more than ever because of what's going on with social media and being silenced, where if you're not sure, just touch on anything on social media that is somewhat controversial, or not even that controversial, just has the right keywords to it, and you're silenced. So if you even thought about not saying anything because of your look or retaliation in some sort against just people that you live with or your neighbors, now you have to worry about getting silenced on social media platforms for months. 30 days on social media, you might as well just go away for the year at that point.
Well, when you get back, there'll be a whole new slew of news.
30 days in this day and age, think about what happens in 30 days.
Well, I could tell you, making this show on a Monday, this is my only show this week because I'm going on vacation, but making a show on a Monday is the easiest thing in the world. I have to cut stuff because I just screenshot, read, and I'm like, oh, God, screen record, oh, God. 2 days.
2 days. A lot happens.
I could do like a 7-hour episode today if I really wanted to. But we do hour episodes here for the most part. Okay, so...
Can we just keep going? What happens if we just keep going?
What, if we just keep going? We just keep going.
Put it on the line.
Just put it right on the line.
That was easy.
All right, so getting back to the overall topic now.
I love it.
We're going to go and find some more crazy news.
There's no crazy news.
It's all crazy. There's no news. There's actually a fictional story being written,
man.
and we're living it. Okay, so Eric Stahl, I can't say his name correct. The guy who slept with Fang, who's impeaching Trump again, slept with a spy from China today, referred to people basically that support Trump as Trump's terrorists when he was speaking about the safety in D.C. Do you understand the division to just say, basically, if you're one of 74, almost 75 million people, that you're a part of Trump's terrorist team? How loaded and fire-stoking that is? Do you imagine that? Do you imagine just be like, oh yeah,
I can't.
Biden's terrorists. And what did Biden say? Oh, they're just middle-class Democrats that voted for Biden. What? Well, why would you call them terrorists? The division is there on purpose.
You know what? What's hard to wrap your head around is, I guess if you look at the general definition of a terrorist, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but if you look at it, okay, maybe you could lump people into it. But specifically being from the United States, and we're around in our mid-30s, what we came up with 9/11, just like a lot of other people, was the definition of a terrorist seemed to be a specific thing. And now to lump general citizens in, and again, like you said, almost 75 million people in with what we grew up and what we saw and witnessed, especially here in New York, I'm having a tough time wrapping around my head that we're lumping the use of the same word in with everybody else.
The word went from terrorism went to, for our generation, Islamic terrorism. And the word terrorism does not actually have that as the definition, and there is domestic terrorism from within, and but again, what happened on the 6th was bizarre, and it's even more bizarre as you find out some of the stuff that's going on.
And more you're finding out more like what happened that day, and more videos are coming about, and
it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yes, there was some destruction to some degree. There was people, including a CNN reporter, meshed in with somebody who was BLM, and again in August said he wanted to pull Trump out of the White House at a BLM rally. and this is a credentialed press member with this person talking about how we're probably going to burn the whole entire thing to the ground, saying we did it. I said we were going to do it. Very crazy stuff. And then you have the bull guy, which we're going to have that footage, of course, that was posted. And you go, how in the world? The bull guy. I am the bull god. So, yeah, I don't get it. And a lot of people don't get it. So, let's go to the clips. This is how it started. It's time for unity. And here's how it's going. You do not belong in the United States Senate. You should resign. We must impeach Trump. If you voted for Trump, you voted for the person who the Klan supported, and you voted for the person who Nazis supported. I'm going to break that down real quick. Again, Biden, the Clintons, they were all friends with Robert Byrd, who was a Democrat, who was from the party who actually founded the KKK, and he was a founding chapter member of he founded a chapter of the KKK, and Bill Clinton referred to that time in his life as a misguided judgment, or a moment where he didn't think clearly. I've had moments that I didn't think clearly, and they usually were powered by like Smirnoff Ice in junior year of high school, and I would be like, ooh, I made out with that girl? Wouldn't do that if I was sober. I didn't go and found a chapter of the KKK, nor do I have friends that made a chapter for the KKK or who are in the KKK. But this is how the swamp runs. The swamp is both sides. And everyone goes, oh, I heard the word swamp, they're talking Trump nonsense. No. A lot of Republicans, total swamp creatures.
Yes.
Total swamp creatures.
Yes.
And because the end is, you have some ideology, but at the end of the day, we don't want term limits. We want to get our money from special interests. And the people will do what we need them to do because they're just second in this process. It's us first. And again, you'll see as we go on with my routine here, socialism is good for the people, but not the socialist. I always mess that quote up because it's a little confusing, but you have socialism, they do not. It's kind of a bizarre thing. It's kind of like when Obamacare came in, the Senate didn't want to pass it. There was a lot of issues with it, and it was like, well, if we're in the House and the Senate, we're exempt. We have our own rules. That is a problem. When the political class have their own rules, but you do not, and you will see that keeps happening. That's the running motif. That's a really, really big problem. Like when Gavin Newsom's out eating dinner without a mask inside with 12 people, and he tells you, like, how dare you go anywhere? You have to be outside with a mask, and like, hey, get away from that food. Cat's trying to eat chicken meatballs. But I digress. We're going to go to the next
Do
one.
we touch on Newsom?
Come on, talk about him.
I didn't get to look up. Hey.
The cats arrived.
I didn't get to look on it today. I just kind of keep track because Newsom and Murphy have become my guys. Because you know what? No matter what happens at this point, and this is just me speaking personally,
Okay.
I think it's very important for one or both of those guys. So, Newsom being the governor of California and Murphy being the governor of New Jersey.
Talk a little louder.
One of them to be recalled.
One,
And-
at least.
Yes, one at least. I think this is very, very important because no matter what, no matter which side of the fence you're on, you have to understand that what these governors have done, and they gave themselves a tremendous amount of power that they were never supposed to have. These guys have failed miserably. And whether you think that they had a lot and they were set up to fail, it doesn't matter because these people played with everybody's lives and they messed up a lot of lives. They not only directly killed people, but then in them trying to save people, they destroyed livelihoods, which depending on how you look at it is kind of almost equal weight. And again, this is my personal look on it. The livelihoods and lives they go hand in hand in my eyes. It's they're almost equal. So if one of these guys gets recalled, at least when something's going to happen in the future, because when we're giving up this much and we're giving these guys power and we're showing them how long they can hang on to this power, trust me, they will do this again. So the next time they try this, at least then they know, if I take it too far and I'm overstepping what I'm supposed to do and I'm not really looking out for the people, they can take it back.
Yep.
So unfortunately in New York, we can't take that power back. We can't recall the governor. Otherwise, I definitely would have been the one. I attempted to do it. Not going to happen in New York. I'm sorry for those that want to see it. But in New Jersey and California, follow it. Again, I haven't looked, but I know that there's well over 1 million votes right now in California to recall the governor, which is very telling because there are a lot of people that aren't happy. And again, whichever side of the fence you are, these governors did not handle this well at all. And whether it's right or wrong, or whether you think they were set up to fail, that is what these people are supposed to do, and they're supposed to look out for us, and it's not what they have done.
This is a different situation, too, because you'd say, what happens if you could recall a president? Well, if you could recall a president, there would have been a good amount of people in this country that wanted to recall Trump, but they couldn't do that, so instead they tried every avenue possible for 4 long years. Of course, everything was kind of based on nothing, but they tried it. But with this case, what Danny said about the recall, it's very important that they understand that they still are accountable to the people. Because where you go is when you have absolute power, as Mr. Sikoria in the 6th grade at IS-24 told me, corrupts absolutely. When you don't have anyone to be accountable to, and you have absolute mandate power, you're going to do what you want. And unless your moral fiber is high. Some people don't have high moral fiber, Andrew, and you don't care that you're just swiping people's livelihood right under the table. You don't care. And you go, I see it this way, but it became political. Everybody wants to open their states again. Now all of a sudden it's becoming pressing. But enough time has gone by where you go, what were you waiting for? And
I know what we were waiting for. It's really obvious.
Oh my God, I was wondering. Tell me.
Could it be that we have a new president now?
You're a conspiracy theorist.
Must be.
I don't know why.
Because I don't know what else has changed other than that. Because people said, I don't understand. How could Cuomo come out and say what everyone's been saying?
We've done this long, and if everyone's getting the vaccine and we've done it for this long, we might as well wait it out now. No. Because, and this is exactly what Danny just said, and Dave Portnoy said the same thing. If he had to decide between keeping his business that you finally get off the ground and starts running as a business, and it's your livelihood, or getting the virus and possibly dying, he was like, give me the virus, and if I die, I die. Because either way, I'm just going to be living a hell if I can't support myself and my business that I died to get created goes under. But none of this matters to rich people, and the rich people in charge don't give a crap about their constituency. Zero. The moral fiber. Again, I offer certain things. I would love to put Andrew Cuomo on a lie detector show. We could televise the whole thing. I'll pay for it, and I'll give $10,000 to his charity of choice if he could beat me on a purity contest. Down to racism, down to his true beliefs. He would never take that. But I would. And I'm middle class. Andrew Cuomo can buy me. Essentially, he already has. He bought everybody, and he's doing whatever he wants with them. And that's right there where you can say, I believe in my moral fiber enough to put it on the line.
On the line. I love it.
So, what is that?
I'm just checking if there's
Why?
I don't know, John.
Why is it showing
I'm
that?
not tech savvy.
But why is it showing like it's not playing?
I don't think I'm live.
Okay. Woo, woo, woo. I thought our whole show is not working. All right, anybody that's here, feel free to write stuff in the comments. We are checking. There are no comments. We have more viewers on and off throughout this, but no comments. So put comments on the line.
Did it work?
Did what work?
I commented. It did work.
It did.
Someone was
Comment.
commenting.
Look at that. So no one's commenting, but that's fine because I think our show is carrying more than enough. Wait. So
I'm gonna throw a heart out there.
Throw a heart on the line. So here we go about unity. As we're trying to strive for unity, right? This was a true correction in CNN politics. Now, CNN wants to take everyone that disagrees with from the liberal agenda off the air. They want Fox off the air because they are empowering, and it's for your safety. Everything comes back to for your safety. And again, I just watched V for Vendetta.
Oh, yes.
You cannot make any decision because it's unsafe. And for your safety, we'll make it for you. So they want Fox News off the air, Newsmax off the air, OAN off the air. And then they put up shit like this. Sorry about the curse, I'll bleep.
That was easy.
Okay, so CNN Politics is a correction from a real article, real life. A previous version of this story misstated that Senator Ted Cruz was seen wearing a pin featuring a QAnon symbol. It was later discovered this was not a QAnon pin, but a Doritos snack chip stuck to his suit.
But wait, did that happen? Because I saw something where people were like, nope, that was a fake retractment, and everything is so confusing at this point. I don't know what's real, what's not,
I will
have
say,
no idea.
I saw it from numerous sources that I trusted. I triple down vet it. I am guilty in that. I did not triple down vet
I saw that it was like,
But
this
it was-
is what happened.
it
and
was
then-
from real sources,
and then I read
real
something
verified
that said
sources.
that was a joke.
No, there was another one that was a joke. They put up back-to-back ones that said, guess which one is the real one.
And you know what they're doing? They're just like,
Well, 'cause they'll just delete it
They're like,
and
you know
tell their
what, we don't
listeners
want
it's not
this.
real.
it doesn't matter if they delete it or they'll just throw out a whole bunch of other garbage that you have to then. Who's spending time sifting through whether, and how do you even know if it's real or not?
I know. Well,
Wow.
listen, I put that up because even if it's 100% fake,
It's still great.
it's A, it's great. B, it is very divisive to write a whole article about Ted Cruz, who everyone and AOC's putting up in the front is they need to resign because they supported an audit, a 10-day audit on the
You get to
election.
talk about AOC because I love when you talk about AOC.
She's coming back, but I'm not going in.
tonight?
I'm not going in on AOC, but it could happen. That's like word vomit. AOC's too easy. So here we are, and in 2021, and there's a whole article written about somebody that half the nation thinks is the devil, doesn't really know anything about Ted Cruz outside of he thinks that the election should have been audited. Okay? Now here we go, boom, Dorito chip, QAnon. Everyone's like, look, he's QAnon. And they never go back to check. And then they put a little italics at the end. This was a Dorito snack chip. Did Dorito have special interest in this? Did they pay for this so their words Dorito could get out there? I don't know. But I'm saying these are the people that want to take news off the air. They should make that. They should make a whole parody of that. They should have a fake politician walk around with a Dorito on his thing. I should do it. I should do it.
Well, you know what? Politicians haven't been hurt.
It's a snack
Now,
chip.
sports teams, I noticed, have to put all ads on them. Is that next? Politicians are going to start wearing ads?
Doritos. They're just going to wear Doritos.
They're not hurting.
Okay, but we're going to go down to, we're talking about a little bit of QAnon. Cosmopolitan had this pushed through the iPhone to all the iPhone users. I don't even have this app on like notifications, and this popped up on my watch, just like, oh, hey, guess what? You might be interested. A group of millennial wellness influencers started using their platforms to spread conspiracy theories. This is what happened next. Okay, so I was like, wow. So they wanted me, of course, to pay the Apple fee, but I just went and found it on Google like any other normal human would, and I read it for free. And they're talking about how during the lockdown, people had more time on their hands, and people that had big account numbers started becoming the problem. Because if those social influencers did what they were supposed to do, they would not follow any QAnon. They would follow BLM, put up the black cube in June on whatever day of the week it was, Virtue Send, put up a link to donate to blacklivesmatter.com, which still no one really knows where that money went. You raised a lot of money on that website, and I know that there's a lot of good ways to put that to use in the community, including donating it to helping build all the businesses you helped burn down. So I don't know where all that went, but social media influencers, if they have a high count and they walk out of line, it's the same thing as like Tommy Vext and The Patriot. They are black men. They walked out of the narrative and they got canceled. They got kicked out of their bands. Their music got taken off Spotify. And this is becoming normal. There's crazy people that want to take the Harvard degrees away from Ted Cruz and all these other people. This is not okay. It's crazy land. But we're going to go deeper into crazy land. So, speaking of followers, influencers might start licensing their faces. And this is how deep fakes could change advertising. Well,
What does that mean?
what that means is,
Tell us, Sean, what does that mean?
if you have 2 million followers because you walk around and show your butt all day long next to a Bang energy drink, you get your little thong on and oh, look at my butt. Now you have the ability to say, I'm famous, I will place your ad on my site, but you can also use my likeness, and they will make basically a deep fake, which is they'll use a whole entire either digital frame or put your face on someone else's body and then use you to advertise products. And nowadays, everyone wants to be an influencer. It's let me influence. And now, there's a very big degrading problem in society with social media on many levels. But one that is the most obvious is girls will do a lot of things to up their numbers for likes and for follows and to become an influencer. I almost said influenza. But that doesn't exist anymore, only COVID. So, if you go down this line, we're seeing a damning time, and specifically during lockdowns, that you could see it. I've seen articles like in the New York Post about it, that people are like, you know what? I can't make money, or there's a better way to make money, and they open an OnlyFans.
Good for them.
Good for them. That's what Danny says. I think that every girl is starting to lose their brain. They're losing it to the social media paradigm where you're not successful and you're not real unless you get follows. And the way to get follows is to get extremely slutty and push the line.
Are they making money?
Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Some of them aren't even becoming influencers. They're just like, I always go back to this because this is going to blow everyone's mind, but there's literally an Instagram page called Women Eating Bananas. Can you imagine what that page is, Danny? It's exactly what...
Is it weird if I go...
He doesn't have to say it. He doesn't have to say it. You can pull it up. It's exactly what you think it is. It's women performing fellatio on bananas.
Wait, are they doing that or are they eating bananas?
No, they're not actually eating it. They're showing how much of the banana
it's
it's an Instagram. Like you could go to
All right, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
He's gonna of course for journalistic purposes.
Yes.
Of course. So this site exists. This web page, this Instagram profile, and girls will be like, you know how I could get followers? I could just go and give
This is 2.0, by the way.
Because they get taken down eventually. I guess they push the limit of banana blowjobs. But this is what they do, and this is not a mass scale problem yet. But if I came home and I found my daughter, if I had a daughter,
oh jeez,
doing what he just saw this girl do on Instagram, I would be like,
she didn't eat it.
She did not eat it. No, she did not. That's somewhere.
It disappeared and then it reappeared.
This is a problem. But we have to watch how social media is totally morphing everyone's minds.
I'm gonna put this down.
So, speaking of minds, this is another social media app, and Google sent a 24-hour warning for free speech anti-Facebook platform to change their app. Social media platform Minds has to remove major functionality from its Android app after getting a chilling warning from Google. You go through the whole thing. At this point, what do you think is happening? Google is deciding what stays on their platform like they did with Parler. Apple is always right around the corner because they don't want to seem like they're supporting what is deemed, I guess, whiteness and supremacy. All the keywords that have been force-fed down your mouth. So if one does jump, the other will have to jump, or they will have a problem with the public.
Yeah, what happens then?
Well, then you either grow a pair of balls and do something and say, I'm not kicking apps off.
They made it clear. They drew a clear line in the sand.
What do you think happens if Fios takes off Newsmax, OAN, and Fox News? What do you think happens? Does Spectrum follow suit, or do they not?
Personally.
I
don't think they do.
Who?
Spectrum.
Spectrum stays.
I think so, because then
I give them 24 to 48 hours. There will be riots, destruction. People will cancel.
You think they would?
They'll cancel their contract
on Spectrum.
This is the world.
No,
we
I think
live in.
that Verizon, they would cancel it, and then they would jump. Spectrum would get all those
No,
views.
because
You don't
they
think so?
they could.
I'm asking. I don't know.
I think absolutely not. When one caves, the other has to, or that means they condone
Well,
it.
yeah, but you know what? Apple and Google are here.
Well, they're the
When we talk
overlords
about
of the
Verizon
world.
and Spectrum, it's kind of
Apple, Google, and social media are you have Google does both, but sorry, I'm scratching my eyeball. So Apple,
That's a sign of COVID.
Apple,
It's not. I'm just joking. It's not.
you're not 6
It
feet from
probably
me.
is, actually.
He's not 6 feet. Apple has the platform that you view it. Google controls what you view and the platform, and in social media decides it all.
John fills me in on these things. I used to be tech savvy. Not so much anymore, so...
I'm basically an illiterate moron with tech. But look, I made this show. All right, but wait. So we're going to keep going down. We're going to go over 45 minutes.
Did we get to that?
There's a migrant of like 8,000 people headed to our soon-to-be open border and automatic citizen naturalization, and watch what it does to your taxes and the unemployment rate as we're in the middle of a pandemic and our safety. Enjoy. Amazon boots Parler for users' violent language, but hosts merchants selling "Kill All Republicans" shirt. Because that's even treatment. You can't possibly
It's not.
make a post on Parler.
I can't understand how there's still some people that don't think that it's...
But
it's
this
just
is a
about
world problem.
Silencing an entire group of people.
You have to
And I
talk a
said,
little louder. I need
I've
you in the
been-
yellow.
On the yellow?
You're,
Okay.
you're in the here. So just a little bit louder.
There's people I tried to talk to, and I'm like, I don't understand how you don't see that they're just silencing a group of people. And I've said this from day one. There's times you and I have been labeled, whatever we've been labeled at this point.
Nope. You might have been labeled something because
You're
of
guilty by
fucking...
association.
Nope. I tell everybody very simply, challenge me to a conversation without you...
Yes, but that doesn't happen.
But it's
doesn't.
not happening. It's the same way. It's the same way Facebook and Instagram, thus to this point, has let me flourish in my own degree. They can only shadow ban and silence slightly, but I have not broken any rules because I haven't broken any rules. All I did was speak very calmly, and that's it.
Yeah, I've said this from day one. Who's anybody that said, no, they're a private company, they get to silence whoever they want, or they can ban whoever they want. And I said, I would be advocating for this or against this, no matter what. I said, it's just take. Let's just use Black Lives Matter as the example at this point. If they shut down anything that said Black Lives Matter, or anything that had to do with it, because that's what's happening on the other side. And they said, nope, you're not allowed to be on Facebook, on Instagram, anything, we're banishing you. We're saying that you can't do that. And then you jumped to a different platform, and then they silenced you there. This is very dangerous. You cannot just silence people. You can't do it, and what happens when you silence people, and you take their voice, people say, well, it's just social media. Everything is social media these days. Everything is on social media. And when you take their voice, now what happens? Because when you silence people and then they become violent, was it their fault? Was it their fault?
I don't make excuses for it, but I see what you're saying. It's going to lead certain people to...
It can't. You
to
cannot
act irrational.
silence. And you know
And
what?
you can't do
If
it.
you said, we don't appreciate this on this platform, go find your own platform to speak. But then when that happened,
And
you
then
silence
and those
that
same people
platform,
silenced it.
and then you give no voice, we have a huge issue. And I don't care which side of the fence you're on, this is a huge problem, what's happening. And I think we can kind of see it. I think they're maybe, I'll ask you, are they backtracking a little bit? I feel like the censorship or things with it in the last week have been toned down a bit.
No, people are still claiming that they're losing followers. Project Veritas keeps getting messages that they're no longer following the CEO, James O'Keefe. I don't know. There was a big boom, and now it's kind of at a pause. and they took down other sites, and they're going for other sites, and they're going for other software on the App Store, but it still should never happen, and the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Like, they've already set a precedent that everyone's like, well, no, you shouldn't have it. That's why, because they used Twitter to make this happen.
What's his name on Twitter say that, like, he still stands by it, but is creating a dangerous precedent? Did I make that up? Or
No, he got caught on video saying, like, there's more to come. It's not going away anytime soon.
Said, I wasn't happy about what I did. And
yes, that was his tweet. That was his tweet, and then his video was like, oh, yeah, this is the way it's going to be, essentially.
I don't agree with what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I don't agree in my tweet, but to my workers, I agree very much so. But again, as this all is created, there's a timeline that Trump was still talking when the people started to siege the Capitol, which means those people were not even at the speech because Trump was still talking. And again, there's with that timeline, you're saying this was definitely planned and done in advance, and it was a lot of it was done on Twitter. However, Antifa has been networking and BLM has been networking. All the different peaceful protests when night fell were not peaceful, and they were busing people around the country and doing like weapon drops out of U-Haul trucks. So we got to be honest and say, if you really believed in what you stand for, Jack Dorsey, you would just shut Twitter down for 20 days. Take it on the chin. 20 days without tweets. Yeah, but you know you're not losing that revenue. You know you're not telling your stock people, your stock owners.
We gotta guess.
You're not doing it. It's just not going to happen. The cat is arrived. All right, we're going up to the next clip. Please do not attack me on my television show. Here we go.
What is this considered? TV, radio?
It's just
a little bit of both.
Facebook Live. So this is going to go a little bit longer than usual, guys, because we still got a lot. I'm going to go on fast mode because this is the only episode of the week, and now I have a cat laying on me. So here's Nancy Pelosi's tweet. Unidentified stormtroopers, unmarked cars, kidnapping protesters and causing severe injuries in response to graffiti. These are not the actions of a democratic republic. DHS Gov's actions in Portland undermined its mission. Trump and his stormtroopers must be stopped. That's July 17th, 2020. So now he's saying how if you silence somebody on Twitter, on any movement, how it's wrong. And then some people just go, it's okay. Well, you're going to see how people flip. So, meanwhile, court buildings were being attacked. Federal buildings were being attacked. They said it was racist to even send the federal police in to defend the building. Portland's been a mess the whole entire year, essentially, right? And now this is from January 6th. Same person, Nancy Pelosi. Even during this dark time in the history of America, we find reasons for hope. It was my privilege today to personally thank members of the National Guard who are working to protect our nation's capital. Thank you for your commitment to our American democracy. We're pushing 30,000. We're up to 25,000 troops by tomorrow. Now they're vetting the troops. Something is very, very disturbing. I don't know what the hell it is, and I don't think they want to tell the people what it is. I don't know what credible threats they have because they can't really come out and always say that. But you have a lot more than now triple of Iraq and Afghanistan together, the amount of soldiers. So what in the world is going on? Are we getting invaded from another country?
That's a lot. It's a lot.
Do they expect 25,000 white supremacists to show up of all cultural backgrounds because they're white supremacists? If I don't know what they expect. What happens?
Would they just start shooting them?
I guess if you break in, it's like the quote goes, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you charge into, do damage in DC while it's being guarded.
But now they think that the guards that they have guarding them are going to kill them.
You
can't even make this stuff up. I'm telling you, if you take a step back and you think about what's happened, don't even go back, just say the last
sentence you just said. No, just say the last sentence you said.
Take a step back.
You get the guards. So what do you do? Do you get another 20,000 of the military?
From what? People that you vetted be on your. I don't
We have the
even know.
military
What's the side
we
at
have
this
the
point?
military to watch the military, who will be watching the other.
Well, I heard that they asked the actual military to come, and then the military said no because this isn't a
I didn't follow
operation. Again, I'm not sure what. You know what? You see something on the line, and then you have to do so much digging. And at this point, if they don't want you to find the correct answer for it,
they haven't really said anything. And then today there was a fire. It said fire under the bridge. There was a safety zone, and there was a homeless camp set up. So everyone had to flee the inauguration rehearsal.
I saw that there was like fire at the.
There was smoke coming out of the Capitol,
and then
all
people
they
said
show
it was
is
fake. It's an old picture, and then people were like, no, it's a
no.
real
Yes,
picture.
I saw this, but it was a homeless camp that had like a tent fire, and the whole entire nation was like, "Oh my God, look at the smoke!"
I can't.
And it was a couple of homeless people that set their tents on fire, essentially, from our knowledge. Or do they want us to think that and there was something more nefarious happening? I don't know. Again, news is very different all the time because it's not really news. It's opinion sci-fi. So we're gonna move on to Bill Maher. Hate the guy 99.98% of the time, pretty much the survival rate of COVID. That's how much I hate Bill Maher. Let's not confuse 5,000 people with 74 million people. You cannot hate Trump because of all of his supporters, because Bill Maher said that exact quote, essentially, which he did say. So not essentially. So his quote was very correct in this case. You can't say if 5,000 people went to the Capitol and did what they did, for the most part, walked around and took selfies, that, not that that's right, it's totally wrong, they should not have been there, but you can't say that means 74 million people are the problem and now we can, quote, call them terrorists.
Can we get a percentage? Because I meant to do this the other day.
5,000 of
like, there was over 1 million, weren't there? Over
I
a
mean,
million people there?
I think there was, but now
we'll figure it out on another one.
Yeah, I mean.
Very small percentage, I'm going to say.
But again, in unity, of course. UK Health Service Trust repeats whiteness a problem for our time seminar. Do you see how on MLK Day, all we're seeming to do is talk about ways we can divide up race and separate people because, again, if you say 98% of the people are all on the side of unity and cat butt on the camera, you would say, hey, maybe we should stop putting in that the problem is always race. So, but we keep seeming to run into that problem. And then from Not the Bee, because Not the Bee is funny, AOC flashes white supremacy sign during Instagram session. Now, Not the Bee, of course, is kind of, not kind of, the Bee is satire, Not the Bee is supposed to be less satire. But this has to be satire because every time somebody does the OK sign or the 3-point sign in NBA, you can't refer to it as flashing a white supremacy sign. Yet I've heard this 1,000 times, not about AOC, but I mean, there is multicultural whiteness as being a problem now. Maybe AOC is starting to suffer from it. I don't know.
What's the actual sign?
I don't know, Danny. I think it's just okay. Like your whole life, you're like, hey, I'm ordering pizza.
Like what,
okay.
Is it like this? Is it?
I don't know. I don't know what the F this is. And if somebody can write in the comments how this became a white supremacy sign, by all means, please do. Because I don't know exactly what the hell is going on in the world, and I have already, a long time ago, put this in the nonsense bin. So I have like news. Yeah, I have news. I have, oh, this is fake from the left. This is fake from the right. Actual facts. And then I have the nonsense bin. And when this OK sign or the 3-point sign that I've watched endless black people do in the NBA and white people do, and it's always been OK, the OK symbol, became a white supremacy sign, it automatically went to the nonsense bin because I have a functioning brain. Just another way to divide. Self-described hardcore leftist arrested for plans to attack Florida state capitol. Does that mean every Democrat or everyone on the left is an extremist?
Yes.
According to the way that they want us to think, yes, because that would create division. And they love division. They want division to be on the forefront because that makes good news sales and can help force socialism by helping us stay separate while the economy collapses around us into shambles. Because remember, the division that they caused by pressing this led to the chance of no landlords, no cops, and they've already worked on lowering the police. And now they want to work on, our politicians want to work on, of course, socialism, hence no landlords, because they've already put the landlords out of business to redistribute the wealth. And here we go. Today, good friend at, what's his dojo's name? Right off the bat.
Staten Island Judo Jiu-Jitsu Dojo.
Yes, what he just said.
Joe Kinezo. Yes.
He posted this,
My guy.
and this is a problem. And you're going to see where this leads us, because, oh my God, you're getting an extended episode tonight, and you're going to love it, because we're getting into some fun stuff right now. Is your ass breaking on that chair?
I'll be right back. Hang on.
Okay, so the chair that Danny's on can literally break your ass. So he posted this, and you see it's all different fires, and you get another pillow from over there.
No, it's going to go. Yeah.
Oh.
I'll leave it. Okay.
The cat screaming on that side. So, yeah. So, they posted this, and it shows how, it's being censored. It's a meme about all the times that Biden looked the other way during crime. Now, if you look on the top of the screen, you see my story, you see Danny's story, and then you see Ellie James. Now, I'm going to send this to Ellie James, because Ellie James is, in fact, an influencer from Germany, and she's hysterical. And, of course, if she posted this, I might get some followers to this news program, which would be great. Everywhere you can find it, it's We the People Are the News. Now, I went and I started watching stories from here. What would you think that I would find? Well, here she is. She follows 0 people. She has 39.8 thousand followers. And
for her.
she posts the usual kind of thirst trap, but a nice version of the thirst trap, but with a meme. And now, when she does that, it's hysterical. It's usually like Smeagol memes and stuff like that. But today she was on a rampage, posting things about free speech. Now, I don't read German, even though I'm German. Well, I'm actually a United States, I'm an American. But my lineage goes back to Germany. She posted this. I'm pretty sure she knows Parler doesn't exist, but it's time to stop big tech. They are using you. This was in English, so I was able to take this, and it shows what you should stop using and start using ones that support free speech and protect your privacy. Not too long after that, she posted that.
Yep, I was going to say.
And that's in German.
You're going to get silenced big time.
So what you're seeing here is as clear as day. Big tech is not a U.S. problem. It is an entire world problem. So they have become the network of the entire world. So while they're muting you and muting things they don't like in the U.S., they're doing the same stuff in other countries for people that are not following the narrative, essentially, of globalism. No matter what you do, Instagram's watching you. It's not just a U.S. problem. And this is very, very important that you watch, that, you see that this is happening everywhere. So, is there another one that's linked there? No, but this shows in Europe. So, Poland vows to stop big tech from censoring those who think differently. So one country is really going at big tech. Now, Germany...
They're fining them, right?
They fine them to the most they can, but it's like fining
millions
me and you
is
penny. It's literally a penny.
Can I have a quarter, sir?
Yeah, they said that the largest fine to Germany fined Google because Germany has strict privacy laws since World War II. And when they went and they was trying to document the streets with Google Maps and Street View, they were like, no, we don't want you coming into our privacy like that. Blur my house, don't do this. They started literally taking out Google trucks. Like they'd come in with the camera, people would come and smash the shit out of it.
I like it.
I like it. Because they actually were like, no, Google, you don't run Germany. We run Germany. It's our friggin' country. However, if you don't follow quarantine, you're going to detention camps in Germany, which is probably why... No, not yet. We will be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it going. Extended episode. I love it.
Well, it's the one for the week. No, we're going to come back to that. There it is. German quarantine breakers to be held in refugee camps and detention centers. So I'm thinking...
It's basically New York, what they're proposing to do.
Yeah, but I actually think that Germany will probably get it much more right than us. So what they're intending to do, and maybe this is why she's speaking up today. I'm almost 100% sure she's German. She might not be. She might be Norwegian.
European?
European. She's European. I'm also Norwegian. I can't get the languages right. I don't know. Because I'm an American.
Stupid American.
Stupid American. Oh. So maybe that's why she's speaking out. But Germany was like, no, they find Google, and if you watched, I'm not sure actually where I watched it. I think I just watched it on cable. They were saying that it was literally just a fraction of like an hour of Google existing. That was how much and that was the maximum fine they essentially could give them. So it's like coming and finding me, and I'm like, oh, this is a little less than I make in an hour. Just take the money and leave me alone. So Google's still trying to find ways into Germany and document. It's still happening. Bam. How do we all know about China? Well, what? Not how. What do we know about China? They're having a social system that can recognize your face, and it gives you basically a social grade card, just like the Black Mirror episode. And they track you. They track if you don't have a high score, you can't buy plane tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh yeah, that's in China. It's coming to U.S. real soon. Xi. So, in Stanford, a scientist can tell you if you're a liberal just by looking at your face. They're building algorithms now that match you against crowdsourced information, and they're finding patterns about your face that will help determine your likelihood up to 73% correct of the time. 73% correct rate. I'm trying to speak and the words are not coming out correctly. But these people are slowly doing exactly what China's doing.
Just to clarify.
Yep.
Because again, John doesn't fill me in on these things. He's like, hey, coming on the show.
Yep.
Does that mean that that study is saying that they can tell you're a liberal, or that they can tell that you are like what like,
you're likely to be?
Okay, so not just liberal was just their example, not necessarily saying like, well, you're a liberal.
Perfect example.
They're just saying they know who you are based upon facial recognition.
No, I'm saying they know from your traits which way your brain will likely work, and they can classify you with up to 73% accuracy. I don't know if it's a thing, but they're working on it. So if China, which already does this, they have cameras everywhere, it sees your face, they know where you are, it has a social grade card to it, what you can do, who you can talk to, and the government's like, you've dipped under it too. They did it to a very wealthy businessman. He said something about the government. The guy hasn't been seen. He's just gone. He's not allowed to sell. They just shut everything down.
I want to get off.
Right?
I want to get off.
So now you're essentially going to have these people will have access to software, the government, that will be like, oh, you know what? We've detained most people that have been outright conservative for re-education camps because they all want to re-educate people that are conservative. It's been out there. They've said it. The guy on PBS said it. This is like a thing. They think this is a good thing, not realizing that it ties to real fascism, real Nazi Germany, and they don't get it because they've changed the meaning. Everything has a new definition. Racism has a new definition. Suspension, we've talked about, permanently suspended is a new definition. So you can't go on the basis of what real reality is because it's changed. If you can't win at the game, you change the game and you manipulate the human mind. This same scientist can decide if you're gay or not. It can see if you're homosexual by your traits. So you could be walking down the street and be like, all right, well, the government now knows, okay, gay liberal, likely gay liberal, that man's likely a conservative, bring him in for questioning. This is not far-fetched in 2021. It's happening in front of our eyes. It's happening in China. Again, everybody sits there and goes, China's not bad, when there's endless amounts of Muslims in concentration camps for re-education to forget how to be a Muslim, and they're doing forced labor. Companies like Disney are doing business with them. I feel like I'm talking like AOC, and that's not okay, but I'm being driven there to tell you, like me, what's actually happening. And everybody that's super liberal is like, Trump is crimes against humanity. But you're actually supporting somebody that is in league through business dealings, in the past at least, and more might come out, that is pro-China, a good view toward China. Well, you have to ask yourself where your morals stand then. That means that you're kind of okay with Muslims in concentration camps being taught how to forget how to be Muslims while doing forced labor to get you cheaper iPhones. Think about the rabbit hole and where you're willing to go with your self-respect and dignity.
It's amazing what they can do when they talk about your safety.
Oh, if it's for your safety, it's for your safety.
Well, think about this. This is basically, what were they called? The internment camps?
Yep.
Again, we just
For Japan.
For
That's what they're
Japan,
gonna
when
do.
they said, we're going to lock, we learned about this in school. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like, how did they do that? How
I
is this
remember that.
right?
I remember
Right?
that.
I remember hearing about it, and it's like, well, how is this okay? How is this acceptable? How did
Yep.
people say, but you know what? They definitely just said to everybody, we're going to lock up anybody who looks like this for your safety.
And everyone said, okay.
And they said, okay. And then we learned about it in school, and we're like, that doesn't make any sense. How could you take these people for how they look? And now we're going to lock up people and put them in camps
Yep.
for a virus that has a over 99% survival rate.
Yep.
And we're going to do it for your safety.
It's all for your safety. But this is the same thing when we found out that the CIA was listening to everything we did. And I was a part of the problem. I said, I don't care if the CIA listens to anything I say on the phone.
I did. I same thing. I said, what's the difference?
What's the
Like,
difference?
They can hear you. They're tracking you. I said, I don't care.
don't-
Now I care.
now I care.
Now I care.
Now I really care because I trusted the moral fiber of the people trying to keep us safe. I said, nobody would ever use this in a bad way. Why would they do that? We're all Americans. They're just trying to see if something comes up where it's like, oh, hey, you know what? There's chatter that somebody's going to do an attack. Like, to me, it sounded good. And now, no, it doesn't sound good because it went further than that. Obama used it. Obama's FBI used it, and the CIA used it to unmask General Flynn, and it was inappropriate because there shouldn't have been an unmasking, and it was all based on a the fake dossier, which they knew. And there's a meeting on recording; they're all talking about it, and this somehow does not affect anyone. It was for our safety. Trump was going to start World War III. That's what you've heard your whole life. Well, I got some unfortunate news. I'm going to skip to it. I got to find it. Where in the world
Again,
is it?
It's a latest.
I have to stay healthy
Don't-
so I can make
don't mess
decisions
with
for the
me,
people.
man.
that
I can't find it. There it is. How inconvenient. World War III, ladies and gentlemen. We were told that. Here's all the presidents since Reagan and how much they intervened outside of the current wars, what they have done. And outside of some well-targeted drone strikes, Trump really hasn't done much of anything.
I like that. Well-targeted drone strikes. That was good.
There's a such thing.
Yeah.
Obama was the king of the drone. He was just wiping people out with the drone all day. He was like playing with the joystick in his office. Pew, 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 pew. Donald Trump, when he killed Soleimani, they were saying, oh, you know what? I remember the celebrities were like, he's trying to start World War III. Well, you know, when you're in war, enemies fight. You don't try to appease the enemy out of fear. You handle what you got to handle in a war. So when Americans are dying and he knocks one of the head people of Iran out and Rose McGowan's begging for forgiveness and not to destroy us as response, you've watched people that don't understand the rules of engagement have their mind warped. It's going to start World War III. But you know why World War III didn't start? I'm going to tell you. It's going to be pretty hard for you to see. That man's face. People were scared that he would respond where other people would not.
Yep.
And that stops you in your tracks. He's not a bully per se in this case. He's rough around the edges. Maybe he's a little bullying. But you know, if you come and punch America in the mouth, you're going to get beaten to a bloody pulp. That's done. That's why Kim Jong-un's starting up nuclear tests. That's why the rhetoric is already starting from China. From the Chinese government ran news because they don't have real news. It is all happening because they know the time to steal on us is back. They know they can get what they
They're
want.
probably going to get paid.
And they're going to get paid. They're going to get money.
Get
That's
paid.
the whole. They're going to get restrictions lifted. Everything's going to be great. And I'm going to get to more stuff that they're going to do in a second. But the reason that one of the things about unity, and no one actually is talking about this, main reason why the corporate media no longer have the power to sway public opinion. Look at what's going on right now. You only have the fake media accusing Trump of sedition and starting a riot. You have all of Hollywood climbing on board and the Democrat Party impeaching him again. Trump was impeached a second time and his job approval rating hasn't budged. In other words, the media and Democrats and Hollywood are only talking amongst themselves. They're in a big echo chamber, essentially. It's here we are. No one dropped their support for Trump. No one's buying what they're selling. And the reason why, and the way the media spins it, is the people that didn't budge are part of the problem. We need to silence them. They are white supremacists. They're dividing people. They don't care about your relationships with your friends, your family, and your fellow citizen. They care about the narrative that they want you to follow. And it's so obvious, and it hurts my brain that so many people don't see it. Because otherwise everything would be even. If you say, hey, unarmed white man shot by 2 black cops, you know that might stoke something in a different direction. It's not said for a reason. It should never be said in general. It's said one way because they want to stoke the fires. They want to promote a division so they can pick at the people that are buying in from each side. If you stay in the middle and you just watch all these people getting attacked like Albert Hitchcock's The Birds. They're just getting picked off by the media. You're just watching them get eaten alive, and you're like, who is really buying into this? Who? You're not thinking, and that's the people that are buying in.
And again, I have to stay healthy so I can make the decisions for the people of the city. Did not for a moment think there was anything problematic because I knew the dynamics. And again, I have to stay healthy so I can make the decisions for the people of the city. Did not for.
So what you saw there was Bill de Blasio explaining why his gym needed to be open and no one else's gym.
I heard about this one.
Because didn't you tag me in this? No?
I might have. I know. I see something, I tag you.
I put it on the line, I move on. It's good. You got to let it go in one ear and out the other when you're done.
That's how I survive these days.
That's it. So what you saw there is why it's important for the political class to have special treatment that you can't have. You have special amenities.
Can I take this?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, buddy. You can keep me on.
Joe's on the line. So
What's up?
what we got is... Just walk over there. See? So what you got is politicians in general are trying to do stuff that you can't do. And that should drive you very, very, very mad. That should make you angry. You can't say, I can eat, I can go to the gym, but for your safety, you can do nothing. I can go to work, I can make my money. I can't find a way to give you money, so you just have to sit down, go bankrupt, lose your house, lose your job, lose everything. I'm sorry, it's for your safety. At some point, you have to be like, hey, I'm waking up, none of this makes any sense. So we're getting close now, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close to the post-COVID. So the roaring 2020s will be a post-COVID vaccine sex fest and an era of vice and indulgence, one expert says. Now, this is from the Daily Star in the UK. Of course, it's all opinion, but today in the news, opinion means everything. What in the world? I'm getting angry. My graphics are all over the place. All right, at this point, I'll leave that up. I don't know where it went. Oh, no, there's post-COVID. I just labeled it wrong. There, bam. Shows some people at a foam party getting it on. So they're asserting that after COVID is done and people come out, which they assumed by 2024. That's right. Just getting started. But when people start to loosen up and it starts to recede by 2024, it's going to be the roaring 2020s. And everyone's going to want to spend a lot of money, but they're forgetting that a lot of people don't have any money and they're driving themselves into debt because of this. So what money will they be spending? But let's just act like this fantasy world exists. There's going to be a vaccine and it's just going to be gone. And everyone's going to be like, I've been so shacked up for the past 5 to 6 years. I need to go out and have sexual intercourse with everyone at foam parties. I think it's a half-truth. I don't think they're going to be spending a lot of money.
I don't know if that's exactly how it's going, but...
You know what?
They're going out.
I don't want to predict the future right now, but I'm going to predict it.
You got another baby?
2024. The world has the ability to see past COVID because of its high survival rate if you're healthy and enough medications and vaccines.
What if everyone's sterile?
A lot of sterility could be happening, but There's no money. So there's underground parties that just turn into orgies because no one's had sex for a couple of years. Right?
Is this the thing?
This is my prediction. That's when they realize they're losing control of the people, and they give you a new sexual virus. It's going to be a cousin to COVID.
I don't know. You think they could go that far?
At this point, they could literally tell us where ducks will start quacking. So I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's going to be a pretty crazy time. I agree with that. Let's quickly go through the pipeline. Today, the Keystone XL oil project pledges zero carbon emissions.
Hope you guys bought electric cars.
Because they're saying that they'll do anything to still keep this project going. Biden still said, his people said, there has been no change in the stance on the Keystone Pipeline. They're getting rid of it. It's going to be probably first day halted. Tons and tons of union jobs that are paying a lot of money are going to be thrown out the window. These people now will join the ever-rising unemployment issue. There's a lot of issues that come from this because we're going to go back into the Paris Climate Agreement. And again, we pay the most money. We cut back the most CO2 emissions. The rest of the world kind of just keeps doing exactly what they're doing. They laugh at us like they always do. Russia and China are currently building a pipeline that's going to basically fix Russia and China's economy, bring oil back to the Middle East, raise their economy. Our gas prices are going to skyrocket to like $7 a gallon in the next 4 years. So like Danny said, go raise my Tesla stock and buy some Elon Musk branded cars. Any input? Because this is madness, no? And they pledged to do zero emissions by installing it.
I can't.
This is only...
John, I can't.
We're still 48 hours away from day one. It's going to be so much news to talk about. But, speaking about imports, exporting, China sent us a lot of ice cream that was tainted with COVID. This is a fact.
Why did we get ice cream from China?
I don't know. Why can't you make your ice cream in America? Our cows make cream.
Where does ice cream come from? No, that's
heavy
a legit,
cream.
At this point,
Wait,
where?
How is it made? Or
Why are we getting ice? Like, what's the brand of ice cream?
I had a hard time finding that. It had some sort of trade name that was very Asian. Like, you could tell it was from China.
Like, is this like our ice cream?
Very Chinese sounding name. I don't know. Like, do you mean like this Turkey Hill order from them and then put it in their box?
Friars?
Or Eddie's?
Yeah.
Like, do they? I don't know. But they were sending in a lot of ice cream and Corona was found in it. And they were saying that it was probably found in there because...
I thought it doesn't live on surfaces.
It was frozen. That's why they said it lived in there. It was frozen into the ice cream. Do you remember South Park? Do you remember when SARS, the first SARS came around in like 03, 04? And South Park was fighting the Native Americans. This is Matt Stone and Trey Parker, not my show. I'm telling you what happened in this episode. And they said, listen, we're going to give the Native Americans as a gift, are going to give blankets to the people in South Park, but they're going to taint it with SARS. And they actually had a couple of Chinese people like handcuffed and made them cough into the blankets. This is South Park, 2004 season. Or maybe 03. And, yeah, they just were like, you know what? Maybe we'll just put it on the ice cream. I don't know.
Send it.
It's a lot of ice cream that was tainted that they found. So I don't know where you buy this Chinese ice cream, but...
That's what I want to know.
I want to know!
I want to know. Can we get to Italy yet?
We'll have to talk about that. Also, they want to raise federal minimum wage. So $15 minimum wage. This is what it looks like as kiosks. Now, let me explain to you. I feel like they do this very quick. Stop me if I'm wrong. If you're a business owner and there's inflation, and the inflation is coming from you don't have the capital you once had because you have to pay all your workers $15 an hour, you're going to cut workers back. If there's a kiosk, you're going to hire a kiosk because after you pay that kiosk off, it just keeps working for you for free. So you've seen it in your McDonald's, because I've gone in, and man, when I have that menu at the fingertips, I always order an extra 8 things. So it's definitely working out for them, because I get like a shake, some extra coffee, some 20-piece nugget. Oh, I go in. And I wouldn't do that if I was ordering from a human. So good on them. They found another way to raise their capitalism. But if you have the ability to get this kiosk to replace it and keep your bottom line the same and your income the same, people are going to do it. And if they can't get a kiosk because they can't afford it and their business needs humans, just like AOC did, the AOC, the businesses go under. They close because you can't sell a latte like her Brewista place in Queens for $19 a pop to try to stay afloat. So you have to fold the business. Businesses are folding left and right because of minimum wage hikes. They always have. There's always an issue. Now, if you're middle class, no one's going to say, well, now the people at the bottom are making $15 an hour, so we're going to give you an additional $15 because that would keep everything the same, yeah? So you'd stay here, the people at the bottom go here, and everyone raises their prices. So at the end, the person making $15 an hour didn't really gain much. Matter of fact, they're still struggling, and the middle class guy is really struggling now because he didn't change at all. So the rich people are still cutting jobs, keeping themselves afloat, maybe come down a little bit. Middle class really dropped in buying power, and minimum wage workers basically, by law, I believe, lose their health care that's offered to them at their level because they now make a living wage. So in the end,
Everyone loses.
everyone is losing. And if you want more than minimum wage, you either have to start a business or figure it out, learn a trade, or go to school. This has been the way out. You're not supposed to say when you're 17. When I was 17, I'll tell you a story. When I was 17, I worked for Blockbuster Video. I made $5.76 an hour. You know what I did? I went to find another job. Because I also worked for the Staten Island Advance. But I found another job. I was a hustler since day one. And I went to Best Buy and I got that raised to $7.77 an hour.
It's big. Back then it was big.
It's big. In 03 now we're in.
Yeah.
And I never once said, I expect to be making even more. Because I didn't go to college. I didn't learn anything. All I was of age to have a job. And I never expected anything to be given to me. And I guess the mindset is everyone should have this. No, you have to. There's winners and losers in life. And it's hard. And I think a lot of conservatives, even though their heart bleeds for somebody, it's like, I'm trying, but this person's losing right now. All we can ask for is a path that they can succeed. But there will be losers. It's just like a game. There's no participation trophy. There is now, yeah. And that mentality went a long way. Like, they gave us a trophy when my basketball team got last place, and I was like, this should be a horse's ass. And that was me in the second grade. I got in trouble for saying that. But it was the truth. Nobody knows that or looks into that realization anymore. They expect something, and they don't realize that there's a butterfly effect. If you change something and nothing else changes and there's still jobs losing and now they're losing health care, they're actually worse off than they were making $9 or $8 an hour. Because now you have to pay for your health care, which offset any of the gain anyhow. All it does is take the government out of it. It's problematic, and it needs to be looked at. Because right now, the hiring of kiosks is underway. Next up. Oh, we already looked at that. Wait, that's minimum wage. Oh my God, I've reached all my topics. Would you like to talk about Italy quick? Or I could lead the.
Lead it because again, I asked you before this. We're having issues with finding out the truth for things, which is it seems like every topic. Or not every, but a lot of topics these days is you have to go digging for yourself, and the more you go digging, is the more confusing things get.
Okay. I'm going to start off with allegedly, because there's been a hard time fact-checking this, but you've seen it, depending on where you frequent, that in Italy, they had, how many restaurants decided to open?
It's anywhere between 30 and 50,000
So
now. Restaurants and bars have decided that they're going to band together and say, nope, we're open.
So, of course, no one's forcing anyone to go to those places, but the option's there, and a lot of people are going because a lot of people are ready to pick up and live their life because they follow the science and they understand their risk and they're grown adults. So 50,000 businesses.
Just roll that number around in your head.
So there was one business on Staten Island that did it, and I'm sitting next to the man right now. One. In Italy, 50,000. So there's a video circulating that the police went into the restaurant, told all of the people there, you need to leave. And essentially, they said, kindly leave and booed them out and said leave, but we can't fact check it because you don't know exactly when it was recorded.
What they're even saying, because even though I'm from Italian heritage, I'm not sure, and we're
I'm
not
Italian
sure
too.
where it's from, what region, if that's one place. Again, we're trying to fact check whether 50,000 restaurants and bars in Italy is actually happening or not, and we can't find factual proof of this, but we can't actually find anything that's saying it isn't happening.
Correct.
And this is a huge issue, because I'm gonna say that most likely this is happening.
I think so
This
too.
has been going on. We've gotten wind of this for almost a couple of weeks now.
We've been hearing it. Yep.
And there's nothing to refute this. And I feel like if there was, they'd be like, nope, look, this was a hoax. This wasn't happening. It was 5 places standing up. This is 50.
They don't talk about it because they don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know.
Because then we might do it here.
And you know what? No, this is... I have to mention this. I still see people on my social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and they're like, America is the laughing stock of the world because we're like, look, we're not abiding by all these rules, and if we just stayed home and wore our masks, this would all go away, and the rest of the world is laughing at us. And you know what? I don't think they're laughing at us, but if they were laughing at us, it's because they're actually putting up a much bigger fight than we are here.
We've become the biggest sissies in the world, ladies and gentlemen.
And there's a lot of people that are saying, you still have your freedoms, and, like, look, we're fighting for this. Like, please, guys, fight there so that, because if you guys fail, we fail. Like, there's no way that we can do it if you can't do it. And then we have everyone saying, why can't we just follow the rules and follow the rules?
Because they think that's going to change everything.
Look what's happening there, and they are putting up bigger fights, and they are more unified, way more unified than we are here. And I actually believe, again, where John and I are going to try to find out the actual truth to this, but I believe that there are tens of thousands of restaurants in Italy right now unifying together and saying, no, this isn't okay. And I actually believe that they are going to do things in a safe way, because being a business owner and understanding you want to provide for yourself, you want to be there for your community, the last thing you want to do is spread this around. And they're doing it in other places, and we're still not doing it here.
Well, now they want to because the election's over. They said now that it's official, it's certified, it's time.
Let's open in a safe way.
But there's court cases piling up that's forcing their hand. And again, I don't know how the USA became so sissy-fulled that we just said, I don't know how and when. People are literally sitting there watching their businesses die, and they have no fight in them. They're rolling over like they're already corpses full of rigor mortis. But again, maybe there's the light at the end of the tunnel. But how long will they let you have the light before they find a way to take it away? If their end goal truly is to destroy businesses and start socialism, and there's a lot of evidence and breadcrumbs leading to that, how long before they find another avenue that they can take to stop it? Again, that's the big question. Again, when you say the whole world's laughing at us with the masks and the this and the that, now all of a sudden they're like, well, we're going to just all become like Florida because they're doing it right. And the World Health Organization's been telling us since like September or October that lockdowns are not right. They don't work.
They don't work. And I can't wrap my head around that people they're still getting behind these lockdowns when there's proof. We'll go back to the scientific proof that shows that these lockdowns are not helping in any way. And in a lot of ways, they're actually hurting because of the mental.
Oh my God, there's a lot of mental illness going on.
So, and that's here. Again, it's happening in another states close by. And people are still choosing to say, nope, just follow the rules, just follow it, and look.
Do you want to know when that will all change? Once the governors and the president says it, that it should change, that's when all of a sudden they'll say...
media.
That's when, because then the media will play it, and they'll say, look, we have Biden saying it, Mayor Lightfoot said it, Mayor de Blasio said it, and Governor Cuomo said it, and Governor Newsom, and then Newsom like, you don't want to recall me. Look, everything's open. Everything's great now. But if the lockdowns again worked, you're talking about in 14 days, there literally should be no infections outside of your family. And it's almost impossible to keep lockdowns now because it's been so long that people are just not staying in their house. They're mingling. Look, I have a news show. Danny's sitting next to me. Also, again, I know it changes and it's different between people, but I know many people that have had COVID, and most of them didn't even get a fever. They were like, I didn't even lose my smell and taste. Now, I found some people that are younger that did, and it's the luck of the draw, and it's scary in that regards. But life is scary, and if you live under the belief that you're safe every time you walk out because you don't have COVID, again, the wind might blow and a tree might come Final Destination style through your sunroof and impale you through the neck, and you will die. We all do it at some point. So that's just out there. If they've told you, you know what, there's a cure for everything in the world and for old age, we just got to get past COVID. And if you get past COVID, there's infinite life. If that's something you want to sign up for, then I get it. But living that way is la la land. You're losing years of your life over something that has, again, a really high survival rate if you follow the science and you fall in the right category. Those people should not be punished for people that do have comorbidities. Those people should be the ones out there keeping the economy alive, and the other people have their free will to stay home. And the government should say, you know what? You've proven you have a problem.
We'll help you out.
Yeah, we'll help you out. That way we can all work together as a team. And that, my friends, is where we basically come to our conclusion. And that conclusion is, if we really, really want it, we really need to have... Are you ready? Danny, take a look at that screen. No, this screen.
Yeah. I'm looking.
Oh, that's you looking. That's so bizarre.
Unity!
Love it.
So that was our long episode. It's been an hour and 35 minutes since the broadcast started. Follow us on Instagram. I would say follow us on Parler, but, you know, social media gods of the entire globe have taken over all the countries, as we've seen through the Instagirls post that I put up. So they're everywhere governing everything and any form of speech that they don't like. So at this point, the handle is @WeThePeopleAreTheNews. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. We're just throwing ideas out there that are basically normal, and we're breaking down and interpreting the news the way you need to know it. And then you can make your own opinions from that, because opinions are good.
Yes.
And if they go...
Both sides, everything, we all need opinions, and they are all important.
And if they go against how you feel inside and there's a real debate in your head, that's called waking up. And it's okay to look at your friends that are black and white and all different colors and not look at them and say, you're black, you're Chinese, you're this. They're your friends. We're all a family, and we do have to have unity. And the first thing we have to do is uninstall the drivers that you have every day in your head uploading from all the media and all the ways you're supposed to think. So again, tell everybody, share it. We the people, we are the news. And I'm on vacation the rest of the week, so follow us.
Can I say one other thing?
Yeah, say one other thing before I hit stop broadcast.
Originally I said I wanted to talk about the State Liquor Authority and their overreach and all of that, so apologies, we didn't get to it. It was an extended episode, but...
If you'd like to talk about it, we can talk about it.
No, we'll do another...
That'll be the first topic.
We'll do the first one. I'll get into it. I've been preparing. There is a lot of news about to happen with Max Public House, and I think the next time I come on, I'll talk about the SLA and what is going on with Max and what we could possibly expect. And there's big news.
I love it. I can't wait. See you guys later.
That was easy.